How Brendan Rodgers has turned Leicester into top 4 contenders, a tactical analysis. Before this video starts, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you get notified whenever we upload a video. Also check out some of our previous uploads, including our video analysing what Manchester United should do if their Saudi Arabian billionaire takeover is complete, and the first part of our what if Pep joined Manchester United and Jose joined Manchester City back in 2016 video. Both videos will be linked in the description below and in the eye above. With Arsenal, Manchester United and Tottenham all having dreadful starts to the season and looking well off the pace, it seems that second place Leicester City could be the surprise package this year to push for a top 4 spot or even apply pressure to Liverpool in the title race. But how has Brendan Rodgers transformed Leicester from a side just about making the top 10 to a side competing with the likes of Manchester City and Chelsea in less than a year? Well, the most notable feature of Leicester's game is their possession system. Rodgers tinkered with a 4-4-2 diamond and a 3-4-3 at the start of his reign, but quickly settled on a 4-3-3. When they have possession, Leicester look a lot like a Pep Guardiola side. They have two fullbacks that advance up the pitch, and Ndidi is the deepest midfielder playing as a single pivot, with James Maddison and Tielemans ahead of him. The two wide midfielders, usually Harvey Barnes and Jose Perez, stretch the pitch by keeping their advanced width, whilst Jamie Vardy sits in between the two centre-backs. Playing out from the back, Leicester look a lot sharper and efficient in their passing than they did under Claude Puel. Johnny Evans is a better ball-playing centre-back out of him and Soyuncu, and he's often tasked with moving the ball forward in order to advance the play if all other passing options are closed off. The central midfield is Leicester's most impressive asset, and Ndidi plays a role of an anchorman, whilst Tielemans and Maddison play ahead as playmakers. Their attacking patterns vary throughout a game. Maddison will usually sit high in behind the opposition's midfield, providing an option in the left-sided half space. Tielemans does look to move high up the pitch in a similar fashion to Maddison, though he does also drop wide and deep when Ricardo Pereira pushes up the pitch. The shape of the midfield three makes it especially hard for the opposition's midfield to assert an aggressive press, as this would entail pushing two players high up onto Tielemans and Ndidi, who play somewhat as a lopsided double pivot. The left winger is also caught in a dilemma, as if he follows Pereira's movement forward, space is created for Tielemans to move into and get on the ball. From this position, the Belgian can play incisive passes in between the lines if he is given too much time. The left-sided central midfielder can move out to press him, but this creates a bigger space in behind the opposition's left side of central midfield. This is where Leicester's wing play comes into full effect. Leicester's attacking patterns down the flanks consist of diagonal inward movements. When Pereira pushes further forward up the right flank, Jose Perez will move inwards into the half space that has been created by Tielemans' movement wide. You will often also see Pereira making a dynamic run underlapping Perez when he pulls out wide. This is key to Leicester being able to progress the ball into the final third. Sides like Manchester United and Arsenal lack this sort of wing play, often only having vertical runs from the fullbacks and no movement from the central midfielder, which allows the opposition midfielders to maintain their shape and cut off the passing lanes into the half spaces. On the left side, the movement varies slightly. Maddison doesn't drop deep like Tielemans does, which does mean that Chilwell is more reserved with his burst forward. Instead, Harvey Barnes will stretch the pitch wide, attempting to pull his fullback away from the centre-back and leave space for Maddison to make a run into. Maddison and Barnes also swap positions, with Barnes moving into the half space and Maddison pulling out wide. This makes it extremely hard for the right-sided central midfielder to keep track of Maddison, which allows him to pop up on the ball in a lot of different dangerous zones on the left side of the attack. The interchangeable movements on the flanks, Pereira's dynamic dribbling and Maddison and Tielemans' ability to play incisive passes all combine to give Leicester the ability to progress the attack into the final third, which is something that Manchester United are dreadful at with their one-dimensional movements which do not open up space for the attackers. Vardy isn't a deep lying forward who will drop deep and provide an option for a direct pass to transition the attack. Instead, he sits on the shoulder of the last defender looking to make penetrating runs in behind the centre-backs, when Maddison or Tielemans receive direct passes from deep. It's this sort of movement which is the reason why Leicester are perfectly suited to direct transition in attacks where vertical passes are played in order to counter quickly. Out of possession, Rodgers has transitioned Leicester into a high aggressive pressing team. Under Puel, Leicester would have pressed in a 4-5-1, but Rodgers has tweaked the system slightly, pushing Perez and Barnes narrower and further forward to create a narrow front three alongside Vardy, which creates a similar 4-3-3 pressing shape to Klopp's Liverpool. The narrowness and advanced nature of the press makes it difficult for teams to play out from the back. The two wingers being a lot narrower makes the pass from the centre-back into the central midfielder a lot more risky. If Barnes and Perez retained a deeper position, Vardy would be isolated in the press and the high press wouldn't be as effective. The fundamental linchpin which allows Rodgers to use this sort of pressing style is the defensive ability of Ndidi. He plays almost an identical role to Fabinho in Liverpool's system. His ability to make interceptions and tackles allows Leicester to push their central midfielders further forward during the press, as if the opposition are able to attempt to play a pass into players between the lines, Ndidi more times than not is there to break up the attack. When the opposition are able to bypass the press or have possession in the middle third, Leicester drop into a 4-5-1 shape, with the wingers dropping back into conventional positions. When the ball is shifted out wide, Ndidi is fantastic at tracking runners who look to make underlapping runs in between the Leicester fullbacks and centre-backs. This is usually a major problem for sides who don't have central midfielders who are defensively positionally aware and can cause the centre-backs to get dragged out of position. So overall, Rodgers has built a side who plays similar football to Manchester City in possession, with focus on using the central midfielders as options in the half spaces and using diagonal movements in the channels to open up spaces for attackers to receive the ball in. Out of possession, his aggressive pressing, narrow 4-3-3 is similar to Klopp's pressing system, with Mane, Firmino and Salah playing as a high, narrow front three out of possession. The system is accompanied with an excellent set of starting players. The midfield three has excellent balance, with an anchor man in Ndidi, a deep line playmaker in Tielemans and an advanced playmaker in Maddison, which is the main strength of the side. The wide midfielders and the fullbacks are now completely in sync with their attacking movements, whilst the centre-backs are comfortable pushing out with the ball, and from a defensive point of view, pushing high up the pitch to make interceptions and tackles, which is needed when using a high pressing style. But ultimately, it's Jamie Vardy's top-class movement, finishing ability and defensive contributions which is really what takes this side from a top 6 contender to a potential title contender. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and share the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel and check out some of our other videos as well.